right, good morning, everybody. I'm State Senator Tom Sullivan from Senate District 27 in Centennial. Today is the 567th Friday since my son Alex was murdered with 11 others in the Aurora Theater massacre. I want to thank the governor for his recognition of June 2nd as Gun Violence Awareness Day and the beginning of the Wear Orange weekend. Sadly, this type of recognition is not being repeated at every state capital across our great country. We have come a long way in bringing attention to this public health crisis that is gun violence, but we still have a long way to go. The NFL will stand up to cancer this season, and MLB will be hitting home runs with pink bats. Even though this past year more children have died from gun violence, we still can't get many to recognize and speak out on that fact. By simply putting an orange ribbon on their jerseys or wearing an orange wristband like I do every single day would make a big, big difference. Can you just imagine Sunday night when the Nuggets take the court to win the second game in the NBA Finals, if they wore an orange ribbon on their jerseys commemorating the tragedy of gun violence that has hit this community, our state, and this region so severely. But we'll keep working on that. So thank you, Governor, and all of our supporters and activists for being here today. We have a lot more work to do. We will be doing that work. We will get this done. And let me now introduce Julia.
Good morning, Governor Polis, our champion lawmakers, and community members. My name is Julia Knox, and I'm a student at Denver East High School and a member of East Students Demand Action. Wear Orange serves as a powerful reminder of the ongoing work we celebrate today, and that continues the remaining 364 days of the year, the commitment to show up and take action. We are doing our part because if we do not act, no one else will. As the school year comes to a close, I would like to acknowledge those affected by gun violence on our campus. At East High School, we experienced multiple incidents of gun violence on and around our premises. Our classmate, 16-year-old Luis Garcia, was shot and killed near campus. 2 of our school deans were also shot in the building. Despite this trauma, East students were louder than ever. Students across Denver and the state joined us in turning our pain into power. We brought over 1,000 individuals to the Capitol and demanded action. We made sure our voices will not die down until students and teachers are not dying themselves. Students showed up week after week at the state Capitol, talked to our legislators, marched across town, registered to vote, testified, and helped to pass common sense gun laws. The progress we have made is evident. In response to our calls for action, Colorado lawmakers stepped up and, through their votes, expressed that they hear us, represent us, and will fight for us. This session, Colorado made historic progress passing 5 gun violence prevention bills. We worked alongside Governor Polis and an exceptional group of elected leaders to pass landmark legislation this session, like the ghost gun bill our governor signed just this morning. One of the most influential statements I heard during my time in the Capitol was a quote from Moms Demand founder Shannon Watts. "It's a marathon, not a sprint, and perseverance is essential." Without the unwavering commitment of these students and the gun safety leaders in our state, we would not be here to celebrate the historic gun safety laws passed during the 2023 state legislative session. This includes the red flag law expansion, raising the legal age of purchasing a firearm, incorporating a 3-day waiting period, legislation to hold the gun industry accountable, and today, the official signing of a bill to ban ghost guns and a proclamation declaring Friday, June 2nd, 2023 National Gun Violence Awareness Day. While this is not the conclusion of our fight to end gun violence, we can celebrate that Colorado now has some of the strongest gun laws in the nation. We are the example that change is possible if you work for it. Thank you. And now I am honored to introduce Governor Polis.
Thank you, and we have a really thoughtful resolution that we prepared for the state, and I think it's going to be read by Linda Magid, Patrick Pethybridge, Kramer, and if they could find their way to the microphone and read the resolution, and then I think I'm going to read the final clause. So let's see if we can figure that out. But I want to thank everybody, Senator Sullivan, everybody. This is the only orange shirt I had in my closet, so I wore it today. And I want to thank all of you for your advocacy and your work. And this was a very successful session. I think Colorado's leading the way. Earlier today, we signed the ghost gun law, which helps prevent undermining of all the other laws, from background checks, which we've long had, to the new common sense gun safety measures, the age requirements, and the waiting periods. Those could all be undermined if a gun was essentially clicked together and either used by somebody or sold. So we're really proud of that work, and of course, the recognition of all those who lost a loved one from gun violence, and we hope that less people have to go through what Senator Sullivan and others here went through, and we'll let you read the proclamation.
Whereas every day, more than 120 Americans are killed by gun violence, alongside more than 200 who are shot and wounded, and on average, there are more than 17,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. And whereas in an average year, Colorado has over 930 gun deaths and 466 people are wounded by guns. Colorado has the 39th highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S. And
whereas Colorado has experienced a number of tragic mass shootings, including Columbine, the Aurora Theater shooting, the Boulder King Super shooting, the Club Q shooting, and the East High School shooting, and other less high-profile but equally as tragic shootings in recent history that have devastated communities and families across the state. And whereas June 2023 would have marked the 26th birthday of Hadia Pendleton, a teenager who marched in President Obama's second inaugural parade and was tragically shot and killed just weeks later. And whereas, following Hadia's tragic death, a group of Hadia's friends asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange. They chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods. And orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And
whereas, by wearing orange and commemorating the 9th annual National Gun Violence Awareness Day on June 2nd, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas Coloradans have a history of passing meaningful reforms consistent with our Second Amendment rights that make people safer from gun violence, and more work still needs to be done. And whereas important steps have been taken to make Colorado safer just this year through the passing of House Bill 1219 and Senate Bills 168, 169, 170, and 279. And whereas
There's one more clause, I think, right? Oh, okay. Whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence, I encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. Therefore, I, Jared Polis, Governor of the State of Colorado, do hereby proclaim June 2nd, 2023 as Gun Violence Awareness Day. And with that, we'll make this